Amid renewed interest in buying Canadian, there seems to be a hunger for a future where we can grow fresh, local produce during our Canadian winters.
Which one do you prefer?
This one. This one is so good. The flavor is so concentrated. I mean, that's the best blueberry I've had in a very long time. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's a good blueberry. There's no question de-extincting dire wolves and woolly mammoths is all the rage right now. But the promise of gene editing doesn't end there. And you can see that at universities all over the world. The work they're doing may not be as eye-catching as a revived dodo, but it's certainly tastier. In this SFU greenhouse, researchers say they've achieved a major first, harvesting blueberries over a Canadian winter.
Right now we have 3 varieties, which is already commercial variety for the farmers or growers.
Typically, Canadian blueberries are grown outside in the summer and early fall. But here, berries have been harvested throughout the winter, thanks to tightly controlled light and temperature. These new growing techniques will soon be used on the team's gene-edited blueberry plants too, which the researchers hope will eventually provide Canadians with fresh, local produce year-round.
This is like a revolution. If we could produce any variety regardless of the temperature and just mimic everything for them inside of the greenhouse.
These are the same blueberry plants that you could find growing outside. These are not gene-edited. But they're an important first step to understanding how we can grow them over the winter and why the gene-edited versions could be so useful.
So let me show you the lab where we keep the plants with the tissue culture with plants.
And once the shoot is formed, it grows up a little bit like that.
We're trying to make varieties that are more suitable for indoor production, and that is actually happening in the lab.
So the blueberries that we saw in the greenhouse, they started out here in the lab?
Yes, they started out in the tissue culture facilities that we have there, and that's actually how most blueberries are propagated in the industry as well.
But not all the plants in this lab are your standard varieties. Some, like this little sprout, have been gene-edited with the goal of getting more flowers, which means more berries, on a more compact bush.
What we're doing here is breeding based on knowledge, essentially trying to copy what has been done with traditional breeding, going back to 10,000 years actually, but do it in a more controlled way.
Precision instead of brute force.
Yes.
Researchers are only tweaking the genes already found in the blueberry plant. These are changes that, if you were lucky, you might find out in nature, which means the resulting plants aren't considered GMO.
We're trying to copy what has already been done in other plant species some 50 to 75 years ago in varieties.
But if this has been done through traditional breeding in other crops, why can't we do it for blueberries?
We'd have to go to screen for natural variations in wild blueberries and then try to cross that back into the cultivated blueberries, and that would easily take a decade or two, so it's not worth it.
Part of the problem also lies in blueberries' DNA. Compared to crops like rice or tomatoes, blueberries have twice as many copies of their genes. That means the chance of getting all the right versions of each gene through traditional breeding is incredibly low. But gene editing promises to speed things faster.
They could actually generate a variety in a couple of years that otherwise would take about 20 years.
Plants that you've edited now, how soon are they going to end up in the greenhouse?
Well, we should certainly have them in the greenhouse in the coming summer.
As the world changes, so do the demands on our food supply, which means our agriculture has to change too. Luckily, there are a lot of brilliant minds figuring out what that has to look like and taste like. Darius Mahdavi, CBC News, Vancouver. Very brilliant minds.